me, God is cold. You could say that. I think of the cold as a noble force. It's just helping me. It's training me. It's bringing me back to the inner nature the way it was meant to be.
It's early in the morning and I'm here to try something different. Today is not about riding, but today is more of hiking in the cold with not too much warm gear. Experimenting a method out. Let's see how it goes. So I'm with my friend Shrey, surprisingly in the car, and we're heading out to Nandi Hills to hike up the hill. Google shows the temperature of about 10 degrees as of now there. I'm going to be trying the Wim Hof method of sustaining cold. Wim Hof is a guy, he's known as the Iceman. He was the world record for being submerged in ice for about 2 hours. He's climbed the Everest in a pair of shorts, not up to the summit, but at least up to a certain level, probably to the base camp. He's achieved a lot of feats, and he has a technique that he's gathered from Tuomo meditation, which basically involves controlling your core body temperature through breathing and other practices. One is breathing technique, one is focus, and the third is exposure to cold. These are the three things that he says makes a person tough, physically fit, and his philosophy is that cold is the best teacher.
I teach this method to show that with a simple method out of nature, we are able to tackle the greatest problems, which is depression, fear, anxiety, and pain. People with chronic pain. That's all unnecessary suffering going on, and all this industries keeping on and say, yeah, that's normal, and I think that's sick.
If it turns out that non-ingestible approaches, such as breath work or cold exposure, can approach some of the potency that medications can provide or have failed to provide, then it's quite possible that one can heal from the inside.
Guess what? We found the proof to tap into our body and mind, enabling us to become happy, strong, and healthy.
We're hiking up the hill, and the temperature right now, it shows 12 degrees centigrade. Doesn't feel that cold. Probably because, I don't know if it's because of Wim Hof's method, or I mean, this is, I think, the closest of the coldest places we can get to, especially close to a city. So I think we got to make use of whatever we get. It's 11 to 12 degrees right now. I wasn't feeling it initially, but as the wind hits you, as you climb, get used to the temperature. You do feel cold, but as you practice the method, repeated inhalation and exhalation constantly, that's when you feel the cold, but not in an annoying way. You like the cold, and I think that's what's happening now. It's been about say close to 15 minutes. Is it 15 minutes since we started?
15 minutes.
What about you? How are you feeling?
Not tired, surprisingly. Not too cold, just the fingertips that I can feel the chillness. Apart from that, it's all normal.
You do Vipassana, right?
Vipassana, but I think what's working for me is the Anapana technique. It's just a little opposite to the yoga, the Wim Hof technique,
Okay.
where you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just be aware of the breath.
Yeah.
No forceful inhalation or no forceful exhalation. Just normal breath in and out as it is. Sometimes it can be a little harder, sometimes it can be very subtle, but that's the mind that's playing with you.
Yeah. Most important here, I think, is the mind
Yeah,
that tells you.
and I
You're
think
feeling-
that's how you improve the stamina as well,
Yeah.
because it's all in the mind. So we think it's all about the physical limitations, but it's all in the mind. The more the mind relaxes,
Exactly.
the more the stamina increases.
Yeah, and then
I think you can start observing it, noticing it as you start practicing this awareness of breath.
yes.
And I think it's not just to do with Anapana, any kind of awareness, whether you're taking in forcefully or whether you're doing it naturally,
Yeah.
just awareness of the breath can work wonders.
One word. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, as you said, it's the breath, and it's all in the mind. You know. If your mind believes you're going to feel cold, that's what I feel, and I've tried it in a couple of places. If your mind thinks something's going to happen, you're going to fall sick, and I think that actually happens. It's not because your body can't take it. I have a feeling it's mainly to do with the mind. Even on my motorcycle rides, I think I've eaten in some crazy places, had water, and at places I shouldn't have had. But yeah, I think if you think that this water is going to spoil your health,
Yeah.
or if something's going to make you sick, then I think it actually does.
Yes.
So now we're actually enjoying this place,
Yes.
and I think there's no doubt that something's going to happen to us. So I think even that plays a big factor, a big role.
I think it's becoming a little more chill, more
Yeah,
colder now.
temperature is dropping as we climb up.
The sensations are more of numbness than coldness. Maybe it's because we're not reacting as much as we used to earlier.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Earlier I was very prone to cold weather, but nowadays it's like nothing much. Hey doggies. I think that's where the mind used to kick in, Yeah, I'm liking this cold actually.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, like I said, it's not in
Traffic.
a annoying way.
Not bad. The camera is also acting as a rearview mirror. I'll just show you what's ahead of us. It's been about half an hour since we started, 40 minutes.
Yeah, 40 minutes.
And it's quite warm, frankly. Or probably we've been used to the climate already. The temperature still shows 13 degrees centigrade here. It doesn't feel like 13. I don't know, probably we've already acclimatized. But yeah, I must say that My hands do feel cold, my palms. But as I said earlier, not in an annoying way. It's just cold and that's it. That doesn't bother. We're going off-road. Probably more fun on bikes, but not on foot. That's a 3-cylinder engine. If the bike's stalling, it's most probably it's a street triple, Triumph street triple. Sun's out and it's not that cold anymore. So we're just having some fun walking around.
Yeah,
we're
time
taking.
to test our breathing techniques on this kind of a trail. I wouldn't say
At least
too
seems
hard,
like a challenge, man.
slightly harder.
Seems like a challenge at least. That was just tar and
Yeah, that was too
it
easy.
was boring. A bit boring.
It's warmer.
Thing
Much
is,
warmer now.
it's much warmer now. On the road, you could just smell smell of Nilgiris, smell of greenery,
You totally forgot that, huh? It's much warmer now.
and of course the smell of burnt clutch plates. You wanna go here?
I'm not sure if there's anything there.
Give you an idea of what I'm talking about. There's a video of guys.
To me, God is cold. You could say that. I think of the cold as a noble force. It's just helping me. It's training me. It's bringing me back to the inner nature the way it was meant to be. And this way I do not only endure the cold, I love the cold.
We live in a world where there's all kinds of false healers and fake alternative medicine programs you can sign up for. It's a rare moment in history when someone comes along who can perform real miracles with real evidence to back them up. Wim Hof has defied logic time and time again, and always under scientific scrutiny. He holds the world record for being able to be submerged in ice for almost 2 hours without his core body temperature changing. He's climbed Mt Everest in nothing but a pair of shorts and ran a marathon in the desert without drinking any water. He's even proven in a laboratory setting that he can withstand illnesses using the power of his mind. But he's not a freak of nature. According to Wim, anyone can do what he can do. They just have to learn his method, the Wim Hof method. Using a combination of cold immersion, breathing techniques, and mental focus, anyone can accomplish feats that were previously thought to be impossible.
I created a method. The components are breathing, mindset, and cold exposure. Gradual, non-forced cold exposure. And that's to optimize the mind-body connection.
Wim has figured out ways, namely through breath work and through exposure to cold, to take conscious control over aspects of his physiology that, for most people, they simply can't tune into and control.
The cold, my warm friend, it brings about a whole lot of more energy, and that together with breathing makes you so powerful.
Wim's mission is to use his body as a laboratory to revolutionize our understanding of physiology. In 2011, he was injected with a bacterial endotoxin in an experiment that challenged our understanding of the nervous system. In normal humans, the injection should cause a strong immune response, leading to fever, chills, and headaches, but not in Wim. It appeared that he was somehow able to suppress his immune response by making his body secrete adrenaline, suggesting that his method can allow us to influence our immune system at will. Scientists thought he might just be a freak of nature, so to further prove this theory, They performed the same experiment on 12 subjects Wim had trained in Poland, and the same thing happened.
Normally, it's very difficult to increase your adrenaline levels by your own will. Adrenaline is released by the autonomic nervous system. And autonomic means that you cannot voluntarily influence it. So if you walk outside and you are robbed on the street, you will have a heart rate of 160 and your blood pressure will be sky high within seconds. But if I ask you now to increase your heart rate, you cannot do that. You cannot voluntarily modulate that. And with the techniques of Wim Hof, we show that he was able to increase his adrenaline levels to very high concentrations, even higher than people that go bungee jumping for the first time. That was something that we didn't think possible.
It's by breathing. If we just breathe more deeply, change the chemistry inside. Not shallow breathing, deep breathing. Slowly but surely. This is what you do consciously. You do this 30 times. The chemistry in the body, in the tissue, is changing. And it's changing so that the body is becoming oxygenized, alkaline, and then suddenly the brain-body connection is possible by pressurizing, by once you begin to have that connection with the body, then you are able to connect within, in the brain. And that's what we do right now with Stanford University to get rid of PTSD, fear, trauma, and depression, to learn to expand consciousness. And together with breathing, you create the right chemistry, and then the neurons, they channel up, and thus your perception, your consciousness, is going to be, you smell more, you see the colors brighter, you experience deeper. And that's the brain, and then connecting once again with all the cells makes you a beautiful living being.
I don't know where this trail goes. It goes somewhere. Whoa. Yeah? That's on the hills. The hill that we were supposed to climb, but ended up being here. While climbing, yeah, it was one after the climb. This way. I think that way.
Yeah.
Well, this would have been caused by water, isn't it?
Yes,
See that?
for sure. It's all water.
Thousands of years. Water caused all that. Was it summers underwater?
Yeah, mate. Not all the way up till here. Not sure.
You don't know.
Never know. Yes.
And after all, our history is all adulterated, manipulated.
Okay, we're finally back down the hill.
Okay, small hill.
It looks very subtle, these breathing techniques, but they do work.
Small things make a big difference.
They might not seem intense, but probably at a deeper level they have a major impact.
Much greater impact.
Spots and everything.
Look at the camouflage of this. Wow. It's just.
I think it changes, is it?
I don't think so. It changes color.
Because the spots are exactly like. what it's
Yeah,
around.
exactly like the rock. It's born here.
We'll move it a bit and see.
I just saw it move, and then that's how I spotted it.
Hmm?
Good man. I think it thinks that we don't know that it's there.
We know you.
He's like, no, you don't know me. We're finally done with the trek or hike. We have to have breakfast 11:30 a.m. Quite a long day, but I'd like to say that the energy levels are still not low. Probably we could hike up again and down without any problem. And just that we are very hungry. The Wim Hof method is sort of working well. It started to show its effect in the morning. I wasn't very cold, not too hot, but the fluctuation in temperature wasn't a bother as well. So I think all in all, since it's just been 2 weeks, I'll have to continue doing it and probably go further and go explore.